In the latest episode of the Jeffrey Epstein Story, starring Donald Trump, the Wall Street Journal published an article that detailed a birthday greeting Trump had sent Epstein back in 2003 with a rather strange message that said, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." According to the Wall Street Journal, the birthday greeting also included a drawing of a naked woman, but Trump did respond later that he does not draw pictures, despite the fact that there is evidence on record of him not only drawing pictures, but them being auctioned off. And then later on, Trump went a bit further as he authorized Pam Bondi to release all pertinent, whatever that means, grand jury testimony. He wrote on Truth Social, "Based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I have asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. This scam, perpetrated by the Democrats, should end right now." Trump's order that Bondi should get pertinent documents seems even more suspect in light of how Senator Richard Durbin has now claimed that FBI agents were told to flag any Epstein records that mention Trump. So right from the beginning, the DOJ and FBI were looking to selectively choose which records of Epstein could potentially be released. And I do believe that's where this is headed. They're going to release grand jury testimony that implicates other people, probably Donald Trump's enemies. But there is one other possibility I want to mention. Back in March 2017, journalist David K. Johnston managed to obtain 2 pages of Donald Trump's 2005 federal income tax return, and he gave them to Rachel Maddow. Remember, at that time, Trump had refused to release any of his tax returns. Maddow getting 2 pages of Trump's 2005 federal tax return was seen as big news, and that it was a peek inside the empire of Donald Trump. But shortly after Maddow went on air with that information, which showed that Trump paid $38 million in federal taxes, the journalist who originally gave them to her, David K. Johnston, said he now suspected that he was given them by Trump himself. And why would Trump do that? Because 2005 was the one year that made Trump look good. It showed him with a substantial adjusted income of $153 million, and as I mentioned, paying $38 million in federal taxes. But that year was an outlier compared to other years all around it in which Trump did not pay any income tax. Trump deliberately leaked 2 pages from that return in order to portray himself as a wonderfully successful businessman who pays a great deal of taxes. Rachel Maddow and much of the left at that time fell for the idea that this was insight into Trump's empire, when in fact Trump deliberately planted those 2 pages to make himself look great. And the reason I mention that story is that we can't discount the possibility that the same thing might have happened again with this article in the Wall Street Journal. It could have been deliberately leaked to the Wall Street Journal by someone connected to Trump in order for Trump, his DOJ, and the FBI to be able to knock down that story at some point in the future. And if that turns out to be the case, any connection between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein will fall apart. It will be the ultimate straw man argument where Trump himself set up the Wall Street Journal to run that story only to have his DOJ knock it down at some point later. And if that actually happens, Donald Trump will then be perceived as Mr. Innocent. And in that case, this will be just the latest example where Donald Trump not only manages to get away with it, but comes out stronger on the other side. He is the lawless one.